Good morning all. This is Kavi Priya, Assistant Professor, EC Department, SNS College of Technology. I am going to discuss about the topic shift register. Under shift register, I am going to discuss about SISO and SIPO shift register. Let's start with the introduction for shift register. Before starting the shift register, we have to know what is the basic difference between the combination and the sequential circuit. So combination circuit is one in which output at any instant depends only on the present input, whereas sequential circuit depends on both the past as well as the present input. For storing the past data, it requires a memory element. So the flip-flop or latches can be used for that purpose. A register is nothing but it is a group of flip-flops which are controlled by the clock pulse. So the shift register is basically a register in which data is being shifted from one flip-flop to other flip-flop based on the application of the clock pulse. I am going to discuss about the need for shift register, and I am going to discuss in depth about the SISO and SIPO register, and finally the comparison between the SISO and SIPO. First, what is the need for shift register? So shift register plays a vital role in data transfer as well as data storing. So it is a very important part of the communication system which is capable of converting the serial data to parallel data and parallel data to serial data. And next is the types of shift register. Based on the shifting direction and method, shift register is basically classified into 4 types: serial in, serial out, serial in, parallel out, parallel in, serial out, and parallel in, parallel out. First, let's discuss about the serial in, serial out. Serial in, serial out is nothing but SISO, in which data enters serially and exits serially. It is a very simplest form of shift register. For example, if there are 4 flip-flops, initially we are applying the logic 1. At the end of the 4th clock pulse, the data will be excited from the shift register. So after each and every clock pulse, the data will be shifted from one flip-flop to other flip-flop. And next is a curiosity challenge. First one is the odd man out, and from the given 4 data, we have to find out the odd man one, which is nothing but Murray machine, Mealy, shift register, and decoder. Decoder is the odd man one because it is a combinational circuit. Other 3 are the sequential circuit. And next is a riddle. I show every journey of state. Circles and arrows are my traits. What am I? Which is nothing but it is a state diagram in which the states are represented using the circles, and the transition from one state to other state is represented by the arrow. Final riddle is output depends on the input and current state, which is nothing but it is a Mealy machine. And I'm going to discuss about this SIPO, serial in, parallel out. The data enters the shift register serially, but it will be available in the parallel form. It is used for converting the serial data to parallel data for processing. So the serial data enters the first flip-flop, and the output can be taken from each and every flip-flop parallelly. And next is a comparison between the SISO and SIPO. As far as input is concerned, SISO and SIPO registers both have the serial input. And data conversion, SISO registers convert the serial data to serial data, whereas SIPO converts the serial data to parallel data. Output availability, SISO and SI have both the output available after the nth clock pulse. SIPO registers in which the output can be taken after each and every clock pulses. And next is the output. SISO registers have a serial outputs, whereas SIPO registers will have a parallel output. And next is the applications. They are used for time delay and serial transfer in case of SISO. SIPO are used for serial to parallel conversion. And finally, summary, we have discussed about what is a shift register, what is the need for shift register, and we have discussed in depth about the serial in, serial out, and serial in, parallel out. And we have discussed in depth about the difference between the serial in, serial out and serial in, parallel out. And next is the assessment question. What is the primary function of a shift register? To perform arithmetic operations, to convert the serial data to parallel data or vice versa, to generate the clock pulses, to store a temporary digital value. The shift register's main important function is to convert the serial data to parallel data. At the same time, it can even convert the parallel data to serial data. For converting the serial data to parallel data, SIPO register is being used. For converting the parallel data to serial data, PISO shift register is being used. In case of serial in, parallel out shift register, where you can access the data after it has been loaded only from the serial output, from all the output in parallel, only from serial input or from the input of first flip-flop. In case of serial in and parallel out, Data will be, output is available parallelly from all the flip-flops. So second option is from all the flip-flops, output will be parallel. So the options are B and B. And finally, reference. Thank you all.